Your brain is lying to you right now, and not just in the way you might assume. It's actively choosing deception because lying often feels easier than telling the truth. This isn't a moral failing, it's a fundamental cognitive shortcut, a deep evolutionary design flaw that prioritizes mental efficiency and social standing over rigorous honesty. Today, you will uncover the remarkable psychological mechanism known as cognitive ease, a primal default of your mind's fast-thinking system. You'll understand how this effortless processing paves the way for subtle deceptions and how your very own brain leverages this internal bias to safeguard its most cherished possession, your perceived social status. Imagine your mind as having two distinct modes of operation. One is a bustling freeway, smooth and fast, where thoughts glide along without a second's hesitation. This is your System 1 thinking, the intuitive, automatic, almost instinctual processor that handles most of your daily cognitive load. It recognizes faces, ducks from a sudden noise, and knows that 2 plus 2 equals 4, all without conscious effort. It thrives on simplicity, familiarity, and a sense of effortless flow, what neuroscientists call cognitive ease. When information arrives, System 1 instinctively assesses how easy it is to process. If it's fluent, familiar, or consistent with existing beliefs, it's accepted with minimal friction. This feeling of ease is often misinterpreted as a sign of truth, reliability, or safety. But then there's the other mode, a winding, mountainous road, requiring careful navigation, focus, and considerable effort. This is your System 2 thinking, the slow, analytical, deliberate system responsible for complex problem-solving, logical reasoning, and making tough decisions. It's the part of you that solves a complicated math problem, plans a chess move, or carefully weighs the pros and cons of a major life choice. This system requires significant mental energy. Now, here's the critical insight. Your brain is inherently lazy, not in a negative sense, but in an efficiency-driven one. It constantly seeks to conserve energy, defaulting to the path of least resistance whenever possible. This preference for cognitive ease, for the smooth mental freeway, is so powerful it can profoundly influence what you believe and how you behave. It's why researchers like Hasher, Goldstein, and Topino demonstrated back in 1977 that simply repeating a statement, even if initially unfamiliar, makes people more likely to believe it's true. The repeated exposure makes the information feel more fluent, more familiar, and therefore easier to process. That feeling of ease, it registers as a signal of validity. This inherent bias means that if a simplified, coherent narrative presents itself, even if it's incomplete or subtly misleading, your brain is far more likely to embrace it than grapple with a convoluted, effortful truth. This cognitive inclination doesn't just shape your beliefs, it sets the stage for a much more intriguing and pervasive phenomenon. So, if our brains are wired to prefer the easy path, how does this translate into outright deception? This is where cognitive ease collides with one of our deepest human drives, the relentless pursuit and protection of social status. We are, at our core, social creatures, and our standing within our groups determines access to resources, opportunities, and even mating prospects. The brain treats social status not as an abstract concept, but as a tangible, vital resource. Consider a common scenario. You've made a mistake at work, a small oversight, but one that could reflect poorly on your competence. The truth is complex. It involves admitting a lapse, explaining the nuances, perhaps accepting a degree of blame. This requires System 2 effort, formulating a careful explanation, anticipating questions, managing potential fallout, and enduring the discomfort of vulnerability. It feels like climbing that winding, mountainous road. But what if you craft a slightly altered narrative, a subtle deflection, a reinterpretation of events that minimizes your role or subtly shifts responsibility elsewhere? Perhaps you frame it as a miscommunication or a systemic issue rather than a personal error. Suddenly, the story flows with remarkable ease. It's simpler, cleaner, and crucially, it protects your image. Your prefrontal cortex, that sophisticated conductor of executive functions, can craft this alternative reality with surprising fluency. especially when the stakes for your social status feel high. This isn't necessarily a malicious act, it's often an instinctive one. Your brain, in its energy-saving wisdom, finds the path of least resistance, the lie, to be cognitively more appealing than the arduous truth. The lie is a shortcut to maintaining social standing, a quick repair to a damaged reputation, without the heavy processing cost of genuine accountability. Research by Green and Paxton in 2009 using fMRI scans has even shown that when individuals make decisions that benefit them dishonestly, the brain regions associated with cognitive control, like the anterior cingulate cortex, show less activity when the dishonest choice is made quickly and automatically. This suggests that for some, the dishonest path is the easier default, requiring less conscious effort than resisting the urge to deceive. Think about the subtle exaggerations people use in conversations. The "I almost closed that deal," or the "I practically invented that strategy." These aren't outright fabrications, but small, effortless embellishments designed to polish the speaker's image, making them seem more successful, more indispensable. These small deceptions are born from cognitive ease, serving the deep-seated drive to enhance perceived status without triggering the laborious truth-telling machinery of System 2. The brain effectively weighs the cognitive cost of truth against the social benefit of a simple lie, and often, ease wins. It changes everything about how you perceive casual conversation. Understanding this mechanism isn't about becoming a cynic, it's about gaining profound insight into human behavior, including your own. Here are 3 specific ways you can apply this knowledge in your daily life. First, when engaging in any conversation, especially one where someone is trying to persuade you or explain a complex situation, pay attention to your own feeling of cognitive ease. If a story feels exceptionally smooth, almost too perfect without any rough edges or uncomfortable complexities, ask yourself if this ease is a true reflection of reality or if it's a carefully constructed narrative designed for minimal mental effort on your part and potentially the speaker's. Is it truly simple or is it merely simplified? Instead of immediately accepting the fluent narrative, pause. Engage your System 2. Ask clarifying questions, seek alternative perspectives, and consciously introduce friction into the processing of that information. For instance, if a colleague presents a flawless project report, instead of just nodding along, you might ask, "Could you walk me through one of the unexpected challenges you faced and how you navigated it?" This prompts a shift from an easy, polished narrative to a more effortful, potentially truer one. Second, recognize and actively challenge your own brain's default to cognitive ease when you are about to communicate. Before you instinctively offer a simple, status-protecting half-truth or omission, force yourself to slow down. Imagine the alternative, the effortful truth. This isn't about confessing every minor imperfection, but about identifying moments where a subtle deception serves only to preserve a superficial image at the expense of genuine connection or problem solving. For example, if you're asked why you missed a deadline, instead of a vague, easy excuse like, "I was swamped," consider the slightly more effortful but honest, "I mismanaged my time on X task and I need to improve my scheduling." The outcome might be initial discomfort, but it fosters trust and provides a more accurate basis for improvement. Third, leverage the power of deliberate, effortful honesty to build deeper trust and foster authentic relationships. When you choose the harder path of truth, especially when it involves vulnerability or admitting a mistake, you're not just conveying information, you're signaling a profound commitment to integrity that transcends the brain's preference for ease. This kind of honesty is not cognitively cheap, and others unconsciously recognize that. When you intentionally share a difficult truth, even a small one, you are performing a visible act of cognitive labor. This signals reliability and builds a different kind of social status, one based on authenticity rather than perceived flawlessness. For example, instead of downplaying a personal struggle, choosing to share it with a trusted friend, "I've been finding it really hard to focus on specific tasks lately, and I'm not sure why," creates a bridge of shared humanity, demonstrating that you value real connection over effortless impression management. When you truly grasp how deeply your brain prioritizes cognitive ease, how it subtly steers you toward the path of least mental resistance, you begin to see a completely different landscape of human interaction. That casual exaggeration from a friend, the oversimplified explanation from a politician, even your own quick deflections, they stop being just lies and start revealing themselves as powerful, unconscious strategies to manage perceived threats to social status. You realize that much of the dishonesty we witness and even perpetuate isn't always born of malice, but of a fundamental drive for efficiency, intertwined with a deep-seated social imperative. You'll understand why complex truths often struggle to gain traction against the smooth, easy narrative of a simple untruth, and you'll perceive both your own inner conflicts and the motivations of others with an entirely new clarity. The brain's inclination toward cognitive ease and its tireless protection of social standing are fundamental forces shaping our reality. Continue to peel back these layers of the mind. Keep challenging your assumptions and always seek to understand the intricate machinery that drives what people truly do. There is so much more beneath the surface, waiting to be revealed.